Have you ever been hurt when someone you care about didn't seem to be paying attention to you? They don't seem to care about your feelings or needs, even if you love and care about them a lot. But what if there was a way to change this and make them want to value and put you first? In this video, we'll show you 10 important rules that will make you interesting and someone others want to be around. Watch the whole video to see why each one is so important for improving your relationships. Rule 1. Keep some things to yourself and be a bit mysterious. The idea of not knowing everything about you is attractive, and this mystery can make you powerful. As Seneca said, to be everywhere is to be nowhere. Take this as your guidance. Be present, but also keep a sense of mystery. Like a book with some hidden chapters, let others discover more about you. Slowly, in a thoughtful way, share pieces of your life over time, letting them become interested and curious about you. This way, your personality becomes like a puzzle they want to solve, making them even more excited to explore your character. Think about Cleopatra, the famous historical person. She wasn't just attractive and powerful. She was also mysterious. She kept her thoughts and reasons hidden, making people very curious about her. If you want to get people's attention, be surprising, like taking a different path through new and unfamiliar areas. This will draw them in and make them want to understand you better. Don't reveal everything about yourself right away. Let them explore and be a part of your journey. In simple terms, don't show everything about your life to everyone. Instead, think of your life like a book with many chapters. Each chapter shows a bit more about the interesting person you are. By keeping some things mysterious, you become more attractive, and others will want to know more about Rule 2. Make people afraid of losing you. Here's the second rule. People don't value things as much when they're easy to get, but they care more about things when they might lose them. Imagine that you're someone they can't replace and that they'd miss you a lot if you were gone. You're not just one of many choices. Being independent and able to take care of yourself will make them feel important. Your life is interesting and fulfilling on its own, without the minutiae. This makes them want to be a part of your life because they see it as a special opportunity, not something they expect. This idea is similar to a philosophy that says you can control your thoughts even if you can't control everything else around you. Understand this, and you'll feel stronger. Your power comes from being independent and having an interesting life. People will see you as someone important, not just another person trying to get their attention. They'll do what they can to keep you in their life. People should be trying to get your attention, not the other way around. Make them nervous about losing you and want to be a part of your life. In other words, make them see you as important. Take a look at how Steve Jobs and Steve WNC worked together at the beginning of Apple as an example. WNC was great at engineering and played a big part in making the first Apple computers. Jobs saw how unique WNC's skills were and how important he was to the project. Jobs didn't just work with WNC, he also helped and emphasized WNC's work in their teamwork. WNC wasn't just a partner, he was really important. If he wasn't there, it would have been a big problem for Jobs and Apple. This shows how important it is to recognize and value what each person brings to the table, making yourself someone they can't replace in any group project. Third rule, Rule 3. Be happy for yourself. Make yourself happy. To be truly happy, you need to believe that it comes from within you. Being sure of yourself and not relying on other people to make you happy makes you more attractive. Being sure of yourself and happy on your own makes you more attractive. positive, and sure of themselves, people naturally find beautiful. When you find joy inside you, you shine like a light that inspires others. It shows that you're already happy and whole on your own, which is attractive because it doesn't put the responsibility for your happiness on other people. Instead, you want to share your happiness with others and make their lives better, which makes you very attractive because you're full of positivity and confidence, which naturally draws people to you. Seneca once said that true happiness is when you enjoy the present and don't worry too much about the future. This means that you can make yourself happy. Theodore Roosevelt knew how to be happy, even though he had a lot of problems, like losing his wife and mother on the same day. He lived a strong and active life, doing things like boxing and helping others. His energy and happiness didn't depend on what other people thought, which made him a popular leader. He found meaning in himself even when things were hard. That's why he's an inspiring historical figure. He shows how strong it is to be happy on your own. Fourth rule: let others invest in you by knowing that you're unique, and someone else should want to have you. Remember that when something is easy to get, it's not always appreciated. Real appreciation comes from putting in the work and commitment. When people spend their time, emotions, and energy on you, your connection to them grows stronger. You go from being someone they barely liked to someone they really care about. Your job isn't to beg for their attention or love. It's to show that you bring something valuable to their life that's worth their time and interest. Let them choose to invest in you, so your worth isn't just being there. Being with them becomes important to them, and they wouldn't want you to leave. Seneca said that to make a valuable stone shine, you have to rub it, and to make someone better, they have to go through hard times. This shows that being wanted and working to get better are also important parts of being valuable. Aristotle was Alexander the Great's teacher. To the young prince, Aristotle wasn't just any teacher. He was a bright light of knowledge and smart thinking, which was very important for running an empire. Alexander, who was known for being smart and ambitious, knew how important Aristotle's teachings were and spent a lot of time and energy learning from him. It wasn't a normal student-teacher relationship. Instead, the student saw the teacher as a treasure chest full of knowledge. Alexander wasn't taught easily by Aristotle. Instead, he made it hard for him to become wise. This is why Aristotle's lessons were so important to Alexander's success. Rule 5. Don't make someone the most important thing in your life. Remember that your life shouldn't be about one person. Think of yourself as a bright star in the sky, shining with your own light and energy. You have your own path, separate from theirs. Don't let everything in your life revolve around them. Your dreams, goals, and personality make them more interested in you, which makes the relationship more interesting. It's about making each other's lives better while staying true to yourself. You look even better when you don't put them at the center of your world. You can keep growing by having a life outside of the relationship. It also makes the relationship more exciting and free. Think about what Mark Aurelius, a wise king and philosopher, said: "If you're at peace with yourself, you're in harmony with the world." This quote relates to the idea of staying single in relationships. For example, Sir Isaac Newton was a brilliant scientist who changed the way we think about the universe. Despite all the work he had to do and the demands placed on him, he had a rich life. With hobbies, friends, and his own interests, he was able to balance his success at work with having a strong sense of who he was. This made him not only an amazing scientist, but also a well-rounded person. People admired him for both his intelligence and his independence. Being independent in your personal life and dedicated at work is a great example of how to live a more satisfying and balanced life. Make sure your needs come first. 6. Make sure your needs come first. This rule says it's super important to think about what you need and how you feel in any relationship. You should always know your own worth and avoid being in situations where you're not valued or treated well. You understand how important you are, and you won't accept anything less than what you deserve. Your happiness and feeling good about yourself should never be something you give up, especially not for someone who doesn't treat you right. When you put yourself and your happiness first, you're showing that you won't let anyone make you feel small or less important in any relationship. You are equal, and your feelings matter a lot. You're not here to be pushed aside or seek approval from others. Your aim is to have good, respectful relationships that are based on respecting yourself. When you stand up for yourself, you become more influential in anyone's life. Basically, this rule reminds you that your happiness and self-respect are super important and should always be your main focus. In basic terms, it means putting your own goals and interests first. As Marcus Aurelius said, what bothers people most is not what happens, but how they think about it. This quote is related to rule number 6, because it shows how important it is to think about and deal with situations in relationships. Lucius Quinctius Cincinnatus was a Roman leader who was known for being great at both politics and the military. But what made him even more famous was how he always stuck to his own values and self-respect, even when people tried to get him to do things for power. He always chose to do what he believed in. When he wasn't needed for his leadership, he went back to his simple farm instead of getting caught up in the fancy stuff of politics. He stayed away from people who didn't respect his values. In this story, you can see how important it is to put your own wants and values first. It also shows how important it is to respect yourself and take care of yourself in all areas of life. Rule 7. Don't wait around all the time. Rules number 7. Don't always be ready to go. Rarest and most valuable things aren't available everywhere, and neither should you be. Your time is valuable, and you shouldn't give it away to anyone who asks. Put your own life first. Imagine a life where you're not always waiting around. It's a life where your whole focus isn't on meeting other people's expectations or desires. You have your own life to live and explore, and the people who get to be a part of it should feel lucky. It's important to find balance and not always be ready to drop everything for others. People are interested in people who have their own interests and plans. If it's clear that you're not just waiting around, they'll be curious about what you're doing and want to be with you. Being available all the time makes it seem like they can have you whenever they want, but remember that you're a valuable person, and this isn't about playing games. By not always being ready to drop everything for them, you show them that you have a life with or without them. This way, they learn to value the time they get to spend with you and resist the urge to be always available. Think about what Seneca said. We get scared for no reason, and the things we imagine hurt us more than the real things that happen. So, don't worry about losing out or always being available to other people. Instead, value your own time and what you think. Now let's look at Ada Lovelace, a very smart and creative woman who was a mathematician, writer, and one of the first computer programmers. Even though she lived in a time when society expected women to have limited roles and always be available to others, Ada didn't follow those rules. Instead, she focused on her work, learning difficult math and working with famous people like Charles Babbage. Her commitment to her own projects and choice not to be available all the time made her even more interesting and attractive. AA's story shows how important it is to be yourself and how that can draw people to you. She didn't wait for other people to make her decisions. She made her own, and her intense love and intelligence wowed those around her. Number of rules. Rule 8. Don't start the talk. 8. Don't always start the talk. In any relationship, this rule is about finding a balance in how you talk to each other. It means realizing that it's not always a good idea to start the conversation. Letting the other person take the lead can show that you have other interests and activities, and it can also help you figure out if they're interested in you too. It's not about playing games. It's about making sure that both people in the relationship respect each other and work at it. Marcus Aurelius once said that the best way to get back at someone who did you wrong is to not act like them. In communication, this means not copying behaviors that can make things unfair or make you feel like people don't value you. It's about having self-respect and not always wanting attention or approval. Rule 9. Rule 9. Do not become emotionally too attached. This rule is about finding the right balance of emotions on your way to becoming important to someone. It means making sure that your feelings do not take over the relationship and that your needs are heard and respected. It's about finding the right balance between showing your emotions and keeping calm. Sebastian says that even though emotions are a big part of who we are, showing them too much can make us seem less valuable. Waiting is the best way to handle anger. This quote gets to the heart of rule number 9, which is about being patient and keeping our emotions in check. Rule 10. Rule 10. Be ready to leave. If someone doesn't treat you well, you should be ready to leave the relationship. This rule is all about knowing your own worth and not letting anyone disrespect you. You should be clear about how you want to be treated in any relationship, and if those rules are consistently ignored, you should be brave enough to move on, even if you have strong feelings. This isn't being mean, it's taking care of yourself. Being ready to leave shows that you respect yourself and won't let someone treat you badly. You send a strong message that the situation is serious, which might make the other person realize they need to treat you better if they want to keep you in their life. Your goal isn't to stay in relationships that don't make you happy and confident. It's to build healthy relationships based on mutual respect. Sometimes that means having the strength to leave when you need to. As Marcus Aurelius said, you can control your mind, but not outside events. Realizing this will give you strength. This means you can control your inner strength and self-respect even when things aren't going well in your relationships with other people. We've talked about 10 important ways to make yourself unforgettable to others. Some of them are keeping some things a secret, not being available all the time, letting others invest in you, and putting your own needs first. You need to find the right balance in how you talk to people and not making your whole life about them. Taking care of your own happiness and emotional health makes you more attractive. Remember how important it is to value yourself and be ready to leave relationships that don't treat you well. This isn't about getting attention. It's about building healthy, respectful relationships. If you follow these rules, you'll become someone that others want to value. If you ever feel like you're just an option, remember that you are valuable. Remember that you have choices in your life, even the choice to walk away. You are worth a lot, and you deserve people who see that and respect you. Thanks for watching. Please hit the like button and subscribe to join a group that values knowledge and courage, fair play and moderation. In the comments, tell us how you'll use these lessons from Stoics in your own life. We're more than a channel. We're a community of purpose and respect. Don't miss out. Join us on our journey to living with intention. Until next time.